Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. The Knicks come back from a 20-point deficit. Thought they were about to get run out of the building. They composed themselves, cut it to 13 at the half. Then they outscored. They only outscored them by 3 in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, they took over, outscored them by 16 points, gave up 36 points, something Indiana doesn't do a whole lot of, is give up a big quarter like that. But the Knicks needed it. Karl Anthony Towns was sensational. 24 points, 15 rebounds, 3 of 3 from the three-point line. Fifth all time with 2010 playoff games for the Knicks. Cat had as many points in the fourth quarter as the Pacers. He got going, and when he got it going, it was no stopping. Or I meant to say he got it going in the fourth quarter, not the third. But he did hit a couple of big buckets that got them going. Josh Hart, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. His first game coming off the bench because they started Mitchell Robinson. They went with a big lineup. Another 20-point comeback from the Knicks. The Knicks have the most 20-point comebacks, 3 in a single postseason since 1998. JR, I know you watched this game very, very closely. And it looked like the Pacers were in control, about to take a commanding lead, 3-0. Everything was going inside, outside. They were running, getting out in transition. Obviously, that's what they want to do, make or miss. They want to get out in transition. What did the Knicks do, or what didn't the Pacers do to cause the outcome to be what it became at the end of the game?
Well, personally, I think it was more about what the Pacers didn't do. Obviously, Towns made some big shots, in the fourth, but it just seemed like, towards the end of the second quarter, they took their foot off the gas and they came out in the second half and they didn't have the same energy. I mean, you look at the game, the building wasn't even as ignited as it was in the first half because the energy was low. So, the thing that I look at when I look at this game is what is the best players doing? Tyrese Haliburton, he has to take over the games. Right, when you see your team struggling and you see that the offense isn't flowing as well, I think he tends to take the back seat a little too much and like that. So he has to do a better job on saying, hey, this is my team. We need a moment here, and I got to be the reason why. And I thought that didn't happen today. I think he made a shot or two, but for the most part, the energy was low, and they didn't compete. When the Knicks did in the fourth.
I agree with you. Sometimes I do believe that Hallie he's not as aggressive as I need him to be. Now, he only had 6 assists. That's because the guys couldn't buy a basket. I mean, you look at the shot. Pascal was 50% from the floor. So was Miles Turner. But you look at Nesmith. He was 2 of 8, 1 for 3 from the three-point line. Miles Turner was 6 of 12 from the floor, but he's 1 for 6 from the 3. Nemhard was 0 of 3 from the 3. Hallie was 2 of 6 from the 3. And so when you go 5 of 25 from the three-point line, that's a recipe for disaster. And when the team gets it going, hopefully we can get some of this in the Western Conference, and all of them won't be blowouts, 20 points and 40-point blowouts. But I thought the Knicks, that second quarter, the end of the second quarter, that last 3 minutes, Jermaine, I thought that was big for them because they could have went the other way. Instead of being down 13, they could have been down 33. And now maybe we're having a different discussion. But give those guys credit. You're on the road. You're in a hostile environment. You've already lost 2 home games. They banded together. They believed in themselves, and they made plays when they absolutely had to make plays. And Jalen Brunson is going to have his hand all over it. He's going to find a way to get to the free throw line. That's just the way he is. And I would have wished they probably should have employed the hacker Robinson earlier. I fouled him once I see the momentum starting slipping. Yeah. No, you got to go to the free throw line and make those shots. Ocho, you watching this game and you see the Knicks come back from 20 points down and win this ball game. What did you like about the Knicks' resilience on the road?
Listen, I like the fact that they kept fighting, I like the fact that they kept fighting. Jay, they need to find a way to stop being down by 20. Stop making the game that much more difficult for you. I don't understand how or why, the way the Pacers played the first 2 games, right? Why not do what you did tonight, the previous 2 games you played before? For when you were playing at home, you had the advantage. Now you play a much better game, even though you're down by 20. You play a much better game, and you're playing away in a hostile environment. And then I think the key to the game also was when you not only were you down by 20, but to be able to come back into the game. Were they able to do the last, 5 or 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, Haliburton missed a step back. The sequence where I think it was maybe 3 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock, where the Pacers, they had nothing but 6 points with multiple possessions at that. And I think it was in that matter, in that fact, in that instance in general, where the Knicks took advantage. That goddamn Jalen Brunson, hey, Unc, he's something nice. People might
get to that free throw line.
He
might struggle from the floor, but he gonna find a way, Jo, to get to the free throw line.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, it was a key moment in this game. Let's put aside what the Pacers didn't do and lean more on what the Knicks did. And it started to me from the coaching side, right? Okay. You go back to game 1, the Knicks went on a run. They were up 17. Thibodeau makes a sub, right? Sometimes when the team is rolling, the very best player doesn't necessarily have to be a part of that, because you can sub and stop the flow of the game. Right. You fast forward to tonight, right, where the group that he had in there, they actually did a really good job on cutting it, and he stretched that group out to a point where they cut it to, I think, 3, or possibly even 2. And then when he needed to bring him, I think he brought Brunson back with like 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the game. So I thought the coaching part of it was a lot better tonight when it comes to this chess game, which we see in the playoffs.
And plus, give Tibbs credit. He went with a big lineup tonight. He started Mitchell Robinson. He went with Cat because Mitchell Robinson gives them extra possessions. And so that's what we need. We need more than one possession. And so you know what? I say, Mitch, we're going to lean on you tonight. We're going to play you 29 minutes. He played 29 minutes. I thought he was sensational. Brought Josh Hart off the bench. And I thought, look, when you get it rolling like that, it's hard to break up momentum like that. Because if you look at the second quarter, he let Carlisle, he let him go. Those were not his regular guys in there. He let them go. Yeah. And I thought the Knicks took advantage of that. They ended up clawing it back and getting it down to 13. I thought McBride came in and made a couple of big shots. He had a big-time 3. He had a big-time pull-up. He's doing a little thing. He's a very good defender. If you look at it, Ocho, we've been talking about this. They normally play 7 guys. They played 9 tonight.
Played 9 tonight.
Landry Shamet got 11 minutes. Darrell Wright got 13 minutes. Josh Hart played, he normally plays a little more minutes, but he came off the bench. He played 34, and McBride gave you 15.
Hey, J.O., hey, you say Haliburton, especially in I call it pressure situations, at the end of that game, you say Haliburton should take over. But if you look at what the Knicks were doing, the Knicks was doubling Haliburton on all high screens and forcing the ball really out of his hands, and leaving the onus of someone else on that team to have to shoot or get their point from somewhere else. And they wasn't hitting. Siakam turned the ball over.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, the offense didn't flow very well. So I agree with you. They did, and again, it's a chess match right now, right? They're going back and forth. They're trying to take the ball out of certain people's hands. But the difference that I saw tonight early in the game, I think the first half, the Pacers bench outscored the Knicks bench, I think 22-7. And the second half, the Knicks was a plus, I think 15 or 16. So the flow of the game was a lot different for the Pacers early. I thought the Pacers got a lot more stagnated, in the second half. And Ocho, to go back to what you were saying, what makes Haliburton really, really good is when they're moving that ball, swinging that ball, he catching the ball, on a live pass, and he's going downhill. Well, the second half, look at the second half, it was super stagnated. They got bumped up against the shot clock a lot, and the ball didn't necessarily end up in the right people's hand at the right time.
Right. Yeah, I thought he held on to the ball. The ball stuck a little bit too long in his hands tonight, J.O. Yeah. I like when Haliburton, when they're getting make or miss, getting the ball off the rim, and they're pushing tempo. That's when they're at their absolute best. And it doesn't matter if Hallie has it, if Nembhard, Neesmith, it does not matter who, Mathurin, it doesn't matter. They're looking to push tempo. That's when they're at their best, is when they're getting up and down. I thought Hallie did a little bit too much dribbling tonight. I thought he was, he wasn't like, I'm going to go to the basket now, let me back it out again. And now he's getting off the ball at 10 seconds. Now, hey, don't nobody, because it's really hard. When you really look at it, who's really looking to take somebody off the bounce? Siakam. Everything else is really set up by Haliburton doing a great job of getting penetration. They played a lot of pick and roll. You know, like to get in the high pick and roll with Miles Turner. He can roll to the basket or he can hit the pick and pop. But I thought Hallie might have held on to the ball just a tad too much. But he had some guys that had some good looks at the basket tonight, J.O. They just didn't go down for him. 5 of 25 is not near. Well, clearly that's not good enough when you're shooting 20% from the floor from the 3-point line. But when you play it, you got to win this game. You're at home. You done stole 2 games on the road. You got to win the first game back, JL, and it happened to him against Cleveland. Remember, Cleveland did the same thing to him. They take the first 2 games in Cleveland. They come in there, they get it. But Cleveland took the game from the tip. And I look at this guy and say, damn, man, the Pacers about to go up 3-0 on the Knicks.
Right.
About to go up 3-0. And then I'm like, hey, y'all getting real sloppy with this basketball now. There's still 2.5 quarters to go now. Don't let this thing slip away. And then they cut it right. They cut it right before the half. They got it down to 13. And I think the Knicks were thinking, we got it manageable now. Yeah. We got it manageable. If we come out, Ocho, we come out and hit 2 threes, hey, this thing under 10. And we was down 20 just 5 minutes ago.
Hey, they got to find a way to stop being down in such a deficit. Having to crawl back and fight back from 20. I understand the game of basketball is all about it's a game of runs, but like make it easy on yourself. Don't make every game where, okay, now we got to do everything. You got to be damn near perfect and hope the momentum shifts in your favor. Outside of that, I mean, listen, the Knicks bench played really well. It was ugly. Josh, McBride, Robinson, listen, they weren't flashy, but they outplayed Indiana's second unit. And if they can have another game like that, when they play again, Tuesday. If they can have another game like that, especially the bench, we know what the starters are going to do. They have another game like this and tie this series up, it can become interesting again. Because if they had lost a nice game, it was over. I really think the series was over.
Oh, it was over. It was definitely over, Jay, if they had lost this game.
100%. I think the thing where I'm struggling as a former player when I look at these playoffs, and you see it a lot, throughout the season. Time and possession is not a thing anymore in the NBA.
No.
Right, especially in the playoffs where everything comes down to possessions. Right, I'm watching more and more threes be launched, and it almost creates bad threes. It creates rhythm for other teams getting it, and they're gone. And that's the thing why I'm struggling with a little bit. I mean, you go back to the first game with the Knicks, and again, I'm happy that that we up 2-1. But when you look at that game, you're up 14 with 2 minutes, and I think at the time it was
57 seconds.
Yeah. Right. When you think about this, all you got to do is get 4 or 5 stops, and hell, you can get 4 or 5 shot clock violations.
Right.
And you win the game. But I look at tonight where it's like every time you see like somebody, some sort of rhythm is happening, a bad three go up, right? Or just a bad possession. And that's the part where I'm struggling with a little bit right now, considering that this is go to the NBA finals, right? You're in the conference finals. So you should have some sort of understanding on how, to win the game and an understanding too on how to lose a game as well.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of that, JL. I think sometimes guys get caught low. I'm going to be the guy to break the rhythm. I'm going to be the guy to hit the big shot that quell their run or push us to, if we're up 5, we're going to go up 8. If we're up 7, we're going to go up 10. I'm going to be the guy that puts that says, okay, he hit that big shot. Well, it was the big shot in the corner that such and such hit. But what you do is that you allow them, like you said, you allow them to get a rhythm. You allow them to get a run out on you.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you're like, bro, and I'm sure in a situation like that, JL, you're not telling, hey, man, don't take that shot. You're like, hey, let's just be patient. Let's slow this thing down. But I think the thing is for the Pacers, look, it's one game. You said it, JL, they're still up 2-1, and we got another game in our building.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've given the Knicks life. The Knicks believe that they can beat your ass in your building because they just came back from 20 down. So they believe now anything close, going into the fourth quarter, they got you.
We got this.
Man, I don't know who feels good about what. I mean, obviously the Knicks had some struggles at home, and now the Pacers, they had. When you think about the game, Karl Anthony Towns and Brunson, they were in foul trouble. They were in foul trouble. They didn't have a great first half at all. No. They walk away with a win, right? When that game should have been a 20 plus point drumming of the Knicks, but they found a way to stay in the game, or the Pacers found a way to keep them in the game.
And you look at the Pacers, Ocho, we talk about this all the time. They're committed. And normally they have 6 guys in double figures. Mm-hmm. They had 4 guys in double figures tonight. Neesmith, 2 of 8. He only had 8 points. You had Nembhard. He was 2 of 9, 0 of 3. He had 9 points. Those guys normally get you 13, 14, 15. Yeah. That's how they normally play. Haliburton had 20. Siakam, look, that was a playoff career high in game 2 when she had 39. He was phenomenal. I'm not expecting him to have a whole bunch of 30-point playoff games. That's just not the type of offensive player that he is. He's a good player, but I'm not looking for him to go off like he went off in game 2 again. I don't know about you, JL. I thought T.J. McConnell was sensational. Maybe you might need to bump those 15 minutes up and give him 20 minutes because, hey, he battles, he pushes pace, he makes big-time shots. He's a hustler. I love the way he played, but they're kicking themselves. Just like the Knicks kicked themselves the first game because they're like, man, we had Brunson go off for 43. We had Cat go off for 36, and we lose?
Right.
So now they're feeling good about themselves. They say, hold on, Jalen Brunson only played 31 minutes. Cat only played 33 minutes. 6 of 18 for Brunson, 1 of 5. Cat was 3 of 7, 8 of 17. They had 47 points. In the game they had damn near 80 points, they lose. The game they had 47 and was in foul trouble, they win. Mm-hmm. So they're going to take great consolation in this on being on the road. Like, look, guys, we saw him do it twice to Boston in the Garden, down 20. We saw him be down at home in game 3, with the game 4, and come back and win the game and then go close it out. Right. I still like the Pacers. If I'm into these teams, I like being up 2-1. I don't give a damn how good I played the last game. That other team is still have a 2-1 deficit, 2-1 up on us, and we still got another game in their building.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on the McConnell deal, right? I think he had 10 first half points. And I thought he had a really good flow to the game early. Mm-hmm. And then the second half, you didn't see as much of him, right? He was in there, but it wasn't the same level of impact. I don't know if it was because of just the time or just the rhythm of the game, but I think he can be a very, very important component. But here's my question to both of you guys: is when the Pacers get in a funk offensively like they did tonight, if Pascal Siakam isn't the guy that you go for, they can go for 30 every night. And Tyrese Haliburton isn't the guy that can be aggressive all the time, then who do you go to?
But see, that's the thing. When you look at this, they kind of remind me of the Rockets, but a little bit more seasoned. Because who is the guy that you really want to take the last shot? Now, we've seen Haliburton hit some big shots. But you said, okay, are we going to give this ball? Are we going to give this ball to Pascal Siakam and let him go get us a basket? That's not what he is. He's a really good player. He is. And I don't want to try to diminish him here, but I'm not looking at him a guy that's going to consistently like, you know what? We need 25 a night. That's not what he is.
Right. But then J.O., think about what you just asked, right? Is Pascal Siakam, he's struggling late in the game. They doubling Haliburton, forcing him to kick the ball out. Does everyone else, do the other 3 players have the green light to be able to shoot at will when they want to in pressure situations, especially down in that fourth quarter when obviously who you want the ball in their hands, they can't get it done. Do they have the green light to shoot at will?
So I think they do. I think that's what makes the Pacers really good is the depth. When you look at the game that they won, really both games, but in particular game 1, I think they had 7 guys in double figures. They have 4. They have 4 tonight, right? They're gonna those others, like Shaq always says, the others they're gonna have to really step up and free Haliburton. Haliburton's gonna have to be aggressive, start to finish. Come game 4, he cannot be passive. He cannot allow double, to take him out of the game. I mean, hell, the Pacers was doubling Brunson in the first 2 games, and especially in the first game, he had 43. So he's gonna have to find a way to really, stay. Bite down and stay focused and stay gritty when it comes to, making sure he's impacting the game. And then the rest of the guys will fall into place. But I just felt like tonight they just got a little too tight, when the game was, when the Knicks went on their run, and they're going to have to get away from that and realize that they are at home. The energy is behind them, and that should be able to carry them.
Yeah, Neesmith, he's going to give you 8, and he's been playing really well. Nembhard's been playing really well. Yep. 8, 9. I thought Mathurin just didn't have it tonight, and it shows in the amount of minutes that he played. I thought he came in and got a couple of fouls, picked up a couple of fouls early, and Carlisle didn't have the confidence in him to leave him in the ball game, and he ended up going out. They brought Shepard in. He had a big 3. He's mainly a defensive guy that can knock down threes if given the opportunity. But you look at this team. In order for them to win, they're going to have 5, 6 guys in double figures. That's how they've been all year, JL. This is, I mean, they're probably looking at this like, damn, we only have 4 guys. They're one of the few teams that have 5 guys in double figures in the entire playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then McConnell can get you 10 because he'll hit a big 3, he'll get a couple of steals, get and one or something, get the crowd going. Mm-hmm. But I thought those others, Neesmith, Nembhard, Mathurin, got Obi Toppin. Obi normally, he missed a easy one right there. Missed the putback. Mm-hmm. He'll be better. I think those guys, and I think if the guys that they're counting on, the role players, that Neesmith, the Nembhard, Mathurin, Obi, I think if they give you what they normally gave you throughout the entirety of the playoff thus far, especially the first 2 games against the Knicks, I think they'll be fine. 20-point comeback playoff wins. In 2025, we already have 6. In the last 4 postseasons combined, we've only had 5.
Mm. That's crazy.
And we've seen 3 in the last 7 games.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Boston give up 2 20-point leads, and we just saw another one tonight.
I guess the question also comes down to the Pacers bench was it wasn't their normal self tonight, right? Typically, they are the ones they're gonna come in, and every night it's gonna be somebody to step up.
Right.
The Knicks bench hasn't been impactful this series, but they were impactful tonight. I guess the biggest question is, can the Knicks bench come back again in game 4, right? Because I expect the Pacers to come back and be their normal self, because Rick Carlisle is a hell of a coach, had an opportunity to play with him in Indiana. He's a huge adjustment coach. I mean, one of the smartest coaches I've ever been around, so I know he's going to have those boys ready to go. But then when it come down to the, to the game itself, which bench is going to carry their team? And if I had to put my money on it, and this is not me being a homer, I'm gonna go with the Pacers because they've done it all year.
Right. When you're down, and JL, you played 15 plus years. When you're down, is there a number that you don't feel that you can't come back from? And I know it's different than when you first got to the league, because there wasn't a whole lot of 20-point comebacks because teams weren't shooting the 3 like they shoot it now. Right. A 20-point lead in the first quarter, second quarter, even midway through the third quarter ain't ish, because guys can get on a roll and hit 2 or 3 threes and a layup, and what was a 20-point lead now is all of a sudden a 10 or 8-point lead. And so it's a lot different now. But was there ever a number that your team got down and you're like, well, damn, yeah, we got to get ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a 15-18. It was well, it was tough to come back then. That was almost like death, right? If you down 15, 18 points, because we were gonna. The tides have turned a lot, right? You got offensive flow. The analytics to me, is getting people fired. Right, this analytic thing is going crazy, bro.
Got them taking bad 3s instead of good 2s.
Good 2s, right? But I mean, you look at our MVP, SGA. He's a mid-range killer, right? He's taking those 2s. But to answer your question, 18 to 20 points in a playoff game. Yeah, you got to get ready for the next game, because you ain't coming back from that, because most teams won't allow you to, because it was a defensive-minded, the mindset. From the start, right? It's how many times we can stop you, not how many times we can outshoot you, right? And I think that's what's happening in the NBA right now. You have these huge swings, but it was no way in hell, if we playing somebody or the Pistons, or in New Jersey they had Jay Kidd and all of the good defensive teams, they were never going to allow you to come back, But now I guess in 2 minutes you can score 20, 25 in 2 minutes.
Yeah, and the problem is also, JL, is that teams take bad quick shots. I mean, all of a sudden, you see a team go on a 10-0 run in under a minute. Like, what the hell? Hey, I see that. I'm just going to hold the ball, Jay. I'm just going to hold the ball, let the shot clock run down. Give me the ball. I'm going to let the shot clock run down twice. I will get past a minute.
Bro, listen, and the craziest thing that as just a lifer in basketball, wing 3s and corner 3s create fast breaks. And
yes, they out off and running.
Over and over, you see the same thing in unbalanced defensive floor. So I'm not even sure exactly what they're teaching, in the NBA right now from a perspective of those things.
But they tell them that's the short porch. That corner three, that's the short three, J.O. But what happens with that carom, that long carom, and next thing you know, the guy, in 2 dribbles, he already got somebody at the rim.
Yep.
And you're like, and they keep getting, and I understand the Knicks tonight, they're like, y'all not hitting them, so we'll give them to you. Y'all not making them.
Right.
So 20%, 5 or 25, and they had some good looks. It wasn't like they were shooting a lot of contested threes, but some of them were quick.
Yep.
It's okay. Look, I understand. Whoa, this thing wide open. Yeah, there's a reason why you wide open, and it's only 20 seconds that's going off the clock.
Hey.
Only 4 seconds going off the clock. Take it down a little bit more. And I understand. Look, the Pacers are a flow team, Jo.
Yep.
They love to run. They're at their absolute best, and there are very few teams that can keep that pace up with them. Because if you look at who the guys they got, Neesmith, Nembhard, Mathburn, they're kind of interchangeable. They're kind of like the same guy.
Yep.
Same about the same height and can get up and down and play. McConnell comes in. Look, now he's not Haliburton, but he can do a great job of orchestrating offense. He's a bulldog. He can make tough shots. Yeah. I love him. He's tenacious on defense, a little undersized, but he plays hard. Yep. And when you got guys like that, you don't give up a whole lot because you're not asking a guy. You don't see them. I mean, their leading scorer, who's their leading scorer? Probably Siakam. What, 19? So then you have probably got another guy with 17, another guy with 16, another guy with 15, 14, 12. You're not going to have the disparity where you got a guy averaging 28 and then the next guy closer to him is averaging 15.
Yeah.
Hey, Jo, you mentioned some of the adjustments that Coach Carlisle could make. How smart he is. So obviously, I'm thinking about on the other end with Tim doing something that he normally doesn't do. Normally he plays 7, but tonight he played 9. What adjustments? I know you're a Pacers guy. What adjustment you think Tibbs can make to ensure that this game or this series evens itself up next time they play on Tuesday?
Yeah, we all know that, no matter who we are, on that professional roster, when a coach shows trust, we feel confident. Mm-hmm. We don't feel sped up. We don't feel tight. I thought Tibbs did a hell of a job on showing confidence in his bench, and he kept coming back to it. I thought the previous 2 games, he relied too much on Brunson Towns, right? And the ball stuck. There was no side to side. And with Brunson being 6'1", right, they trapping him. Every shot is hard. Mm-hmm. I think that Tibbs has to stay with what worked this game with an understanding that, he may have to make, some in-game adjustments. But I thought tonight he was good from that perspective. And again, I was sitting there talking to my business manager, watching this game. I didn't know who won the battle because it was a tale of 2 different halves, right? Where I just felt, the first half, the Pacers looked like the Pacers. Right? Mm-hmm. All side to side. They didn't want good shots. They wanted great shots. Then the second half, right? It was stagnated, bumped up against the shot clock. Knicks first half, stagnated. Every shot was tough. If you go back and look at the game, they were even running, the Pacers had them running their half-court offense damn near at the half-court line. Mm-hmm. They had them bumped up against the half-court line, and then the second half, they got what they wanted. Karl Anthony Towns, for the life of God. That boy should start on the box and then move his way out.
Hey, you've been saying, Unc, you've been preaching that for the longest.
For years.
You've been preaching it for the longest.
I don't know why he shoots all these crazy threes, because he does have some work down low.
He does. Oh, he's skilled.
Yeah.
But I thought the Knicks defense, there are a couple of times that the Pacers got in transition and the Knicks transition defense was sensational.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Block them out. Hey, nope, you didn't get to here. Make them pass out. They come back again. Say, nope, not doing it again. But I tell you what, when they take Karl Anthony Towns out, they got to do a better job of getting on the boards, because Mitchell Robinson is giving them too many opportunities, second chance points. And that's what he's in there for. He's in there to challenge. If you beat your guy, he's going to challenge you at the rim, but he also wants to give Brunson, he wants to give those other guys second chance opportunities. And so they're going to have to do a better job of keeping him off the glass. And I think if they can do, and plus also Josh Hart. Remember Josh Hart the other night, Ocho, he only had like 5 rebounds. Yeah. He had 10 tonight.
Yeah.
And he had that in the reserve role. So you see, he got better. Nembhard and the other guy and Neesmith, they didn't do what they did the first 2 games. So one guy got better, the other 2 kind of slid back a little bit, and I think that was the difference in the ball game. He gave you a great production. 8 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and steal, and only had 1 turnover. Because he's their Swiss Army knife. He's the guy that's going to do it all. He's going to take a charge. He's going to give you a second chance point. He's going to give you second chance opportunities. He's going to facilitate. Hey, he's a great passer of the basketball, and he's a good defender. Mm-hmm. I thought his presence tonight was really, really good. But you're going to have to do a job of keeping Mitchell Robinson off the glass. He gave the Knicks too many opportunities.
Yep.
I mean, he had 3 offensive rebounds. Josh Hart had 3 offensive rebounds. That's too many. Miles Bridges had 2. You got to keep him off the glass. You got to.
I'm going to tell you this, the X factor for me going into game 4. He hadn't played well at all this round, but Benedict Mathurin.
Yep.
He's been big for them all year, and he's really, really struggled. I need to reach out to my young boy and he just need to just relax and play the game he knows how to play, but he hadn't been great for him. If he comes out and he plays the way he's capable of playing, the way he played this season, it will be difficult, right? Yeah. To try to double Haliburton or anybody else, right? I think, he's the X factor for me.
Yeah, I didn't think Siakam was aggressive enough tonight. Remember the other night he had 23 shot attempts. Tonight he had 14. Miles Turner had 12. Haliburton has 15. Bro, come on now. Siakam, you just had a 39-point game, and you cool with taking 14 shots? Hell nah. I'm trying to get me another 39-point game. I'm going to the rack.
Hey, Hey, do you think the players know? Do you think someone keeps track of how many shots they take in J.O.?
Hell yeah, they keep track of the J.O. Did you keep track of how many balls you caught? Did you know how many balls you caught the last game?
Hold on now. We talk about football and basketball is kind of different. Do you really know on the court, J.O., how many shots you've taken in the game? Do coaches let you know? Or you just have free will?
Go ahead, Joey.
Well, you definitely know. You can know because on the sideline, almost every time out, they have score sheet. Mm-hmm. Where you can go look at, the stat sheet on what you're doing. Typically, you might ask a coach, "Hey man, what's up? Like, how many shots have I taken?" Right? Especially if you're struggling a little bit.
Right.
You're gonna ask that question because now they got 37 coaches on the roster. If you look behind the bench, somebody has something for everybody. But right. You are aware on how many shots you've taken and what your stats are because you always got that one to two coaches that's telling you what's going on in the game for you.
Because they want you to be aggressive. He needs to be aggressive. And like I said, and you see when he's aggressive, the guys that are aggressive that need to be aggressive, Siakam and Haliburton, they're supposed to be your 2 best players. Well, right. Your 2 best players need to play like your 2 best players. And they should never have to feel like they're in a reserve role. Sometimes I feel like Haliburton feel like he's a role player, like he's a bench player. Nah, bro, you're an all-star. You wouldn't help the U.S. earn a gold medal. Be like that. Be him. Be him. Siakam, you just dropped 39, bro. You just dropped 39, took 23 shots to get it. And you cool with taking 14. Nah, bro, go and try to get that back. Be aggressive, because he was aggressive in game 2. I'm talking about extremely aggressive.
Well, I guess the question is, when you're the away team, you expect it, right? You expect the viciousness, the people talking about your mama, your kids. You expect that when you walk into, to an arena. When you come home, you almost try to be too perfect.
Yes.
Right. You try to align yourself with being perfect and doing everything right because you don't want to let your home crowd down. And it looks that way. That's why tonight I thought the paces were a little too tight. When things got tight, when the game got tight, people wanted to rely on somebody else to do it versus
they overpassed the ball, J.O. I was looking at, bro, stop shooting the ball.
Yep. Wouldn't shoot it.
Because everybody I want to make sure I want to make the right play. No, bro, shoot the ball. Shoot it. You don't have to be perfect. Ain't nobody going to call you selfish. Nobody looks at the Pacers and think this is a selfish ball club because we have too many guys that score in double figures. So you can't have that many guys scoring in double figures and be a selfish ball club. We don't think you're a selfish ball club, but you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to win.
No, 100%.
And I just thought tonight, sometimes they overpassed the ball and they ended up turning it over.
Hold on, Unc. Yeah. You call it overpassing. What happened to not being in rhythm? What happened not being in confidence, not having the confidence to shoot the ball at that specific time based on the circumstance of the game at the time? You said all their players most of the time are in double figures. Also, those players are also in rhythm. Also, those players are also a little bit more efficient from the field than they were tonight. So there's a little bit more comfortability with taking those shots as opposed to overpassing the night. You know what? I'm not in rhythm right now. Based on the game and the circumstance that we're in right now, I don't want to take that shot. So I'm going to pass it on to somebody else.
Well, you can't feel like that because the ball going to find you.
Well,
you ever notice how they put an outfielder in the field or infield in baseball? Don't the ball find him? The ball get hit right to him. Mm-hmm. Somebody getting there. Hey, we need a spare receiver. Everybody cover. Somehow the ball got to find him or the DB. When they put a corner in the game, the slot, whatever he is, what the ball do? The ball gonna find you.
Every time.
If you're not confident,
right,
somehow the ball will find you.
But that goes back to what this is more of a question for both of you guys. Are you more comfortable at home or the villain on the road?
Oh, I like being the villain on the road. I operate very well in a chaotic environment. Mm-hmm. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. It's weird.
Yep.
No, I think I played my best at home. I just wanted to be able to hear the snap count because I'm trying to get down the field as fast as I can. and if you notice, when in track meets, when they say runners to their mark, everything is hush because we want everybody to hear the gun.
Right.
I need to hear the gun. I need to hear that hut and ball up out of there.